Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Live at 4. Charlotte DeLeste continues to fill in for Susan Simon this week, who's on vacation. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be back.
We have our guest today, Charlotte McGrain, is on, and she's going to talk about how important dogs are to your, or pets are. Pets into your life.
Yeah, there's a lot of health benefits to having that best friend.
And I think all pet owners everywhere know that.
Absolutely.
We'll find out why. There's a medical reason. But first, we have, here's what's making news today. We have, first at 4 there, we have reaction to the agreement signed by President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un today.
A retired Beloit police officer has just appeared in court on child sexual assault charges. We'll have reaction from the Beloit police chief.
And video of an Illinois police officer rescuing a toddler from a busy highway shows why he is being called a hero.
It's an amazing story.
It really is.
Oh.
Let's take a look outside today. Some clouds, haze, and
still not a bad day to be out on a boat.
No, it wasn't.
If you have a boat.
Yeah, a little humid, but yeah. And
it's short-lived.
Humidity's going on pause.
See?
That's the good news. Karen Swanson is in the backyard. Not a bad day overall.
No, not too bad. We did start off with some fog this morning, seeing some of those clouds across the area this afternoon. At times it got a bit brighter, but overall not too much sunshine. We are going to be dealing with some warm weather ahead, though. In fact, hot weather by Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures should top out in the low 90s. Heat index values will be well into the 90s and possibly even close to 100 degrees each of those afternoons. So we do have a couple of alert days in the forecast for those 2 days. But for now, we are still in the 70s across much of southern Wisconsin. And along with that, we are seeing the clouds. What we're going to be watching for is some possible shower and thunderstorm development as we head through tonight. A cold front moving across the region may trigger some of those showers and thunderstorms. And there is a chance that a few of those could become strong or severe. I think the better chances of seeing those thunderstorms will arrive later tonight into the overnight hours. So temperatures right now are in the 70s. We're at 76 degrees here in Madison, 79 in Janesville, 72 in Wisconsin Dells, 73 degrees in Mineral Point. There's the view in Platteville, seeing some dark clouds in that direction, kind of gray skies overhead, and the same holds true here in Madison. Our temperatures this evening will be falling through the 70s, and then we'll get into those shower and thunderstorm chances later this evening and into the overnight hours. I think that's when the better chances of seeing some of that wet weather will take place. Not out of the question that you could see an isolated shower before that. But for right now, here's our first alert traffic update. This is our Department of Transportation camera at the Beltline and Seminole Highway. At times, we've seen some slowdowns as people exit onto Verona Road, but otherwise looking overall fairly decent right in that particular spot. And you can see that we are starting to see just a few slowdowns generally in that eastbound direction. We're seeing some of those both on PD near the near some of that construction zone as you head toward Verona Road, southbound on Verona Road, seeing those slowdowns, and also eastbound on the Beltline from about Verona Road just past the Todd Drive exit, getting into some additional slowdowns near Rimrock Road and John Nolan Drive. Looks like Broadway also seeing some of those slowdowns in both the eastbound and westbound directions. So Verona Road to John Nolan Drive, eastbound on the Beltline, you have an average speed of about 34 miles per hour. Heading out of town, looking a little better at this point. Heading down to Janesville will take about 28 minutes with an average speed of 63 miles per hour. Heading out to Sun Prairie, your average speed is about 38 miles per hour. So overall, not too bad for this time of the day.
All right, Karen, thank you.
Sure thing.
First at 4, President Trump is on his way home from Singapore, where he agreed to a deal with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to begin the process of denuclearizing the Korean peninsula.
Nikki Batiste is at the White House with reaction to the deal.
President Trump and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un have signed an agreement to begin the process to denuclearize the Korean peninsula.
We also agreed to vigorous negotiations to implement the agreement as soon as possible. And he wants to do that.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are cautiously hopeful.
It's just the beginning. Yeah, it's kind of an agreement to continue talking, and which I said earlier, as long as you're talking, you're not fighting, and that's a good thing.
It's a welcome improvement to see the two of them having a dialogue rather than engaging in name-calling and saber-rattling.
This is not the first time North Korea has agreed to end its weapons program, as some on Capitol Hill were quick to point out.
Previous presidents, both Republican and Democrat, have gotten exactly the same thing, a commitment for denuclearization without having to give up the prestige of the United States on the world stage and stand side by side with one of the worst dictators, worst human rights violators in the world.
But one thing lawmakers on both sides of the aisle agree on, the president is now responsible for the outcome of the agreement.
He has put his entire presidency on the line here. So if he capitulates, if North Korea backs out of a deal, if they cheat and he does nothing about it, that's going to be the end of his foreign policy.
And some are leery of the U.S. working with Kim Jong-un.
Working with him is like trying to hand feed a shark. You can do it, but you have to do it very, very carefully.
The U.S. and North Korea say they will continue their dialogue. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, the White House.
And the North Koreans also agreed to return the remains of American service members lost in North Korea during the Korean War. A retired Beloit police officer was in Rock County Court for the first time today.
62-year-old Larry Woods is facing child sexual assault charges. Our Rock County reporter Jenna Minna is live in our bureau at the Janesville Gazette to tell us more about the investigation. Jenna?
Hi, Charlotte and Mark. Well, Beloit police had to arrest one of their own this weekend after a 14-year-old girl's mother reported her daughter was sexually assaulted by the retired police officer. Just a few minutes ago, Woods was in Rock County Court facing charges of child sexual assault and repeated sexual assault of a child. Police say Woods had a relationship with the young girl for at least a year, and they've known each other for a long time. Woods retired from the police department in 2007, but has been serving as a security guard for the school district and library. Police say their connection with Woods will not affect the investigation.
The fact that many of these officers may have worked with Mr. Woods, may know Mr. Woods, had no bearing as to what actions they took, what needed to be done, and with the speed in which it needed to be done. And I think our department members displayed exemplary integrity and forthrightness in the manner in which they've handled this.
Police say the FBI may be involved because this crime might have crossed state lines, but their first concern is seeing if there are any more victims here in Rock County. And coming up tonight on News 3 at 5, we'll hear reaction from a mom who lives near the Beloit Public Library about hearing about Woods' arrest.
We will see you then. Jenna Minna reporting live from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette. Thank you.
We have an update on a story we brought to you yesterday. Italian authorities are now sending in 2 ships to help bring more than 600 stranded migrants to Spanish shores after refusing to let them into Italy. The journey to the Spanish port of Valencia will take several days and comes after Italy and Malta refused to let the migrants onto their shores. Italy's new anti-immigration interior minister says the country is done bending over backwards to help refugees. Pregnant women, young children, and more than 100 unaccompanied minors are among this latest group of migrants rescued off the coast of Libya. Spain's new prime minister says his country opened its doors to avoid a human catastrophe.
Groups of students across the country are marking the 2nd anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting with so-called die-ins, demonstrations to protest gun violence. Mola Langi reports from a demonstration outside the Capitol in Washington, D.C.
Alejandro Berrios Martinez.
Students placed roses on the ground in front of the U.S. Capitol as the names of the 49 victims of the Pulse nightclub shooting were read aloud.
Javier Emmanuel Serrano Rosado.
Afterwards, as gun rights supporters carrying signs looked on, the activists staged a die-in to call for stricter gun laws.
It's really disgusting, I think, that Congress has not done much to change the situation or the scenario.
18-year-old Amanda Fugelberg helped found the event. She's from Orlando, where the massacre happened.
It really destroyed us, and, we're healing, but the scars are still there.
Organizers made the die-in last 12 minutes, or more than 700 seconds. They say that's 1 second for each of the mass shootings in the U.S. that have resulted in at least 4 injuries since the Pulse attack.
Daryl Burt.
Student activists staged similar die-ins near President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and near a Trump building in New York City.
Enough is enough. Our kids are dying. I'm 14 and I'm worried about going to school.
Actress Alyssa Milano took part in a demonstration in Los Angeles.
We honor all the victims of gun violence, not by our thoughts and prayers, but by action.
Jason
In Orlando, a bell tolled 49 times for the Pulse victims, and family members placed rainbow-colored pinwheels in their memory. Mola Lengi, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And Florida Governor Rick Scott proclaimed June 12th as Pulse Remembrance Day. Well, it is election day here in Wisconsin. 2
special elections are being held to fill vacant legislative seats, one in northeastern Wisconsin for a Senate seat and another in the central part of the state for the 42nd Assembly. Rose Schmidt is in Columbia County, one of 6 counties that makes up the 42nd Legislative District. Rose?
Hi, Charlotte and Mark. Well, the Republican and the Democratic candidates both live here in Lodi, and we've heard that they've been very visible around town, shaking hands, knocking on doors. Republican John Plummer owns a karate studio in Lodi, and he's a Lodi Town Board member. Ann Groves Lloyd worked at UW-Madison for nearly 30 years and retired in June. She grew up on a farm in Lodi. Jean Rubenstein from Partyville is running as an independent. The Lodi City Clerk says voting turnout here is higher than usual, likely because 2 of the candidates are from here. She's expecting a total of 800 to 1,000 people from the city to vote. There's been more than 550 so far. Now, these candidates are looking to fill the seat that was previously held by Representative Keith Ripp. He actually left the Capitol to go and was appointed to DATCAP. Now, coming up on News 3 at 5, we will hear more about where these candidates stand on some of the issues.
Rose, thank you, and we will see you once again at 5.
Hundreds of people in Silverthorne, Colorado are being ordered to evacuate after a fire broke out on Buffalo Mountain just west of Silverthorne. Smoke could be seen billowing from the mountain. There are many vacation homes and condos in the area, and authorities have requested a major air attack to keep the fire from jumping well-established fire breaks in the forests.
A police sergeant is being honored for his quick actions in rescuing a young child from a busy roadway in suburban Chicago. The Naperville Police Department posted dash cam video of last month's rescue by Sergeant Anthony Menino on its Facebook page. The 1-year-old apparently left his nearby home and wandered along Route 59 as traffic whizzed on by. Menino, who was on patrol, thought at first it was a stray dog, but after realizing it was a child, his police and parental instincts took over. He stopped his police car to block a lane of traffic, ran after the child, and scooped him up.
I have twin boys, and there's not a day that goes by where something bad happens. You always think your own kids.
The child's mother showed up a little later, obviously distressed. As for Sergeant Menino, he was presented with the department's life-saving award.
Lucky little boy, that's for sure.
Very lucky.
Well, a big victory parade today in the nation's capital as the fans of the Washington Capitals celebrated the franchise's first National Hockey League championship. The team hoisted the Stanley Cup during the parade on Constitution Avenue as tens of thousands cheered them along the route in its Washington, D.C.'s first major professional sports title in 26 years. The team captain brought the celebration to a wild conclusion.
You guys killing it. You just bring for us, for our families, for our moms, dads, brothers, wives, kids, just happiness because they support as much as you are. They was all in, and we want to say thanks for our families and for you guys. Thank you very much.
And of course, the celebration ended to the strains of "We Are the Champions."
Of course.
Of course.
Congratulations. Well deserved.
Well deserved indeed.
Coming up at 4, kids and finances.
It's a topic many parents avoid, but experts say you shouldn't. We'll have the results of a new study when Live at 4 continues. Welcome back. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety is out with a new round of crash tests.
This time, the insurance research group focused on the safety of passengers riding in mid-sized SUVs. The testing focused on small overlap crashes, which occurs when just the front corner of the SUV strikes an object like another vehicle or a tree. The 2019 Kia Sorento, the 2018 Volkswagen Atlas, and 2018 GMC Acadia performed the best and received good ratings overall. The 2018 Toyota Highlander and 2018 Nissan Pathfinder earned acceptable marks, while the worst performing SUVs were the Ford Explorer and Jeep Grand Cherokee. Both received poor overall ratings, with researchers noting a range of issues, including structural collapse, a non-deploying airbag, and hard hits to the dummy's head during testing.
The main reason a vehicle gets a good rating is because the structure, in particular the safety cage, the parts of the vehicle structure that surround the occupants, stays intact.
The SUVs were crash tested at a speed of 40 miles per hour. Researchers at the IIHS say overall people are much better protected in today's cars, SUVs, and passenger trucks than ever before.
A judge has just okayed the AT&T merger with Time Warner, rejecting the government argument that it would hurt pay TV consumers and competition. The deal is worth $85 billion and was opposed by the Justice Department. Stocks were mixed on Wall Street following the summit in Singapore. The Dow Industrials lost 1.5 points, but the NASDAQ Composite Index added 43, and the S&P 500 managed an almost 5-point gain. Well, talking to children about money and finances can be hard, stressful, and just plain awkward.
But instead of avoiding the subject, experts say it is vital to pass on financial wisdom to kids.
Penny, quarter.
To make sure kids have a chance at financially healthy lives, experts recommend you get creative when having conversations about these critical concepts. First, saving money.
If they can experience what that looks like and feels like, they'll never forget it.
Financial coach Alok Deshpande says get children to appreciate deals and challenge them to make their dollar go further.
If we go to Barnes & Noble's and my son likes a book, we're also going to look it up on Amazon while we're in the store, because I want to see, am I actually going to save or not?
Number 2, making money. One way to teach children how to generate cash independently is to get their help selling stuff online.
Let them take the pictures. Let them put it up online. Let them do the research to set the price, and then give them 30%.
Number 3, compound interest. Experts recommend you help kids experience it by giving them $50 and then paying them interest.
And just say, look, if you save it, every week I'm going to give you 5% interest. Well, that $50 after 6 months is close to $180.
Number 4, talk to older teens about paying for college, student loans, and credit cards.
That is really a great time where the kids are listening, where they're engaged, they're in tune, because it's about their life. It's not about a parent nagging.
Good ideas. Good
advice.
It is
a very good idea, but it's hard for children to really kind of grasp that concept.
Talk to your 8-year-old about compound interest.
Yeah, forget that. Woo. Another time, maybe.
There's more to come at 4. Boys will be boys, will be boys, will be boys.
My goodness, we will meet a Michigan family composed of mom, dad, and 14 boys. We'll find out how they overcome the challenges of such a big family coming up after Karn's forecast.
Take a look at this. For Kevin Perry, it all started in Portland, Oregon. From there, he drove 5,000 miles hoping for one fantastic photo. As you can see, he's having a little trouble on his journey across America. His cool video effects look very simple, but the technical skills required to plan each shot, line it up, and go in the same direction each time from the camera, doing the same movements, very difficult.
Wow.
Perry's unique and clever video is titled Portland to Portland. It details his journey from Portland, Oregon to Portland, Maine.
Wow.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
I like that.
That is great.
He probably has some great stories to tell from his journey.
5,000 miles.
It is Tuesday, June 12th. It is Superman Day. Superman made his debut in 1938 in Action Comics #1.
And what's that comic book worth?
A gazillion.
Yeah, gazillion.
I wish I had that. It's also Red Rose Day, and we just have these cute little ones back here. They're kind of lavender colored, but because we don't have red roses, we have something else exciting, right?
We have jerky. It's national. Not jerky. It's
yes.
National. Don't look at me. Today to celebrate dried meat snacks. So this, a pound of meat or poultry, a pound boils down into what? Just 4 ounces of jerky.
I like beef jerky. I think it's a great protein that, you know, if you're really hungry.
Low calorie,
But
low
he's
carbs.
got to watch out for the sodium.
80 calories, 10 from fat. That's not bad.
And there's all kinds of jerkies. There's turkey jerky, salmon jerky.
What is this
one's
one?
honey barbecue beef jerky.
And this is just the
Just
original.
original.
And why can you buy it at gas stations?
It's perfect for camping. I like that it's at gas stations. We bring it all over the country.
And the astronauts love it in outer space.
Maybe that's why
Well,
I
it's
like it.
easy.
I always wanted
That's
to be an
true.
astronaut.
See, that was
There you
your
go.
calling right there.
Jerky?
Jerky.
As
I
in,
will
would you
have
like some?
I'll have some. I'll take the whole bag, man.
You got to fight Dylan for it.
I could
Don't
take
worry,
him down.
You can take
I got
Dylan
you
down.
covered. I got a
take him
whole
down.
bag unopened for you.
So the humidity out of here.
Yeah, it's going to be leaving us. We do have some less humid conditions on the way by tomorrow, but in between, we do have some showers and thunderstorms for tonight, so we'll talk about that forecast next. We started the day with some low clouds and some fog, and really the clouds just kind of stuck around this afternoon, but so far not a lot of rain. There have been a few just spotty showers that have tried to pop up, but overall a fairly dry day so far. The main cold front is still off to our west, and as that makes its way across the state of Wisconsin tonight, we will see a better chance of some showers and thunderstorms develop. There may be an isolated shower or thunderstorm this evening, but those better chances arrive later tonight into the overnight hours. And with that, the Storm Prediction Center does have a risk area for seeing some stronger storms across the state. It looks like the better chances of those stronger or severe thunderstorms will be in this slight risk area that's off to the north and to the northwest of Madison. This marginal risk of stronger storms into the south central and southeastern parts of the state. That's where the chances get to be a bit more isolated. And that's because this front is going to be coming through here late tonight. So we'll be losing some of that heating by then. Not a lot of energy to work with, but still a chance that there could be something that's strong or severe. Tomorrow, that threat is well off to our west. And then for your day on Thursday, those chances stay off to our northwest. So the better chances will be tonight, but even those are looking fairly small at this point. High temperatures today made their way into the 70s and 80s across much of the region. Here in Madison, we've been as warm as 78 degrees so far. 79 in Janesville, 74 the high over toward Platteville, 77 degrees up toward Wisconsin Dells. And you'll notice so far this month, we've seen a lot of wobbles up and down, just about as many days above normal as we've had below normal. A lot of those below normal days, though, have taken place on the weekends. We've had 4 weekend days so far this month. 3 of those days have had below normal high temperatures, but it looks like the opposite will be true this weekend. Look at those temperatures really cranking up by this weekend. Highs should top out in the low 90s. We drop off a bit into next week. And here's the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, just showing some above normal temperatures possible across much of the state of Wisconsin, and in fact across a lot of the country. That's the tendency toward the above normal temperatures during that 8 to 14 day period from the Climate Prediction Center. Here's the precipitation outlook for those same days, June 20th through the 26th, showing below normal precipitation chances across Wisconsin and areas to the west. Here's our time lapse today showing that fog this morning. We did have that fog lift, but hanging on to some of those clouds this afternoon on our WISC-TV sky cam. 78 degrees and 65 our temperatures today. Normals today are 77 and 55. Right now in Madison at 76, winds are out of the southwest at 5 miles per hour. Temperatures are fairly uniform across southern Wisconsin. Right now it's 77 in Watertown, 75 degrees in Lone Rock. Dew points are also pretty high. Those are in the 60s to near 70 degrees, so you may be feeling some stickiness if you're headed outside late this afternoon or this evening. We've got those higher humidity levels, but that should drop off late tonight with the passage of that cold front. Heat on the map off to our southwest. That's where temperatures are into the 90s even. Here's that cold front I was mentioning. That passes us by as we head through tonight with those shower and thunderstorm chances. High pressure moves in behind it. Sunshine tomorrow, keeping us dry tomorrow night and even into Thursday as well. Eventually this warm front moves through, and that brings us some shower and thunderstorm chances, followed up by that heat and humidity for the weekend. So tonight 60 degrees. We will have that chance of showers and thunderstorms. Then tomorrow, sunny skies, warm temperatures, less humidity, a high near 80 degrees. Here's that future track forecast. There may be an isolated shower this evening. Then a better chance of showers and thunderstorms moves in after midnight tonight. That moves through 6 a.m. tomorrow. All of that wet weather exiting the eastern part of Wisconsin, getting into sunshine tomorrow. Highs back into the upper 70s to near 80 degrees all across the southern part of the state. Beyond that, we have some shower and thunderstorm chances that'll return Thursday night into Friday as a warm front moves through. We'll be in the warm sector of that system then for the weekend. Highs in the low 90s. Heat index values well into the 90s, if not close to 100.
Yeah, that'd be warm.
Should I say hot?
Hot.
Sizzling, scorching. What else can we say? The cold front moves through Monday. That brings us some wet weather, but also cooler and less humid conditions by about Tuesday and Wednesday.
The cold front.
Yes, down 80.
The cool front. Should I call it the cool front?
All right. Well, thank you.
You're just correcting me right
No, we're not correcting. We're emphasizing.
Adding
That's
to my
right.
presentation.
That's right. You're welcome.
A Michigan couple has no regrets about having 14 boys. They were hoping for a girl along the way, but it just wasn't meant to be.
It's one big happy family, despite what some mean people have to say about it online.
Brandon Schwand had his own cheering section at a hockey showcase near Detroit.
His dad and 3 brothers followed the 19-year-old's every move as Schwant put his skills on display for scouts. The support was nice. But it could have been a lot more substantial. After all, Schwant has 10 more brothers and no sisters.
You would think that with 14 tries, one of them by chance would have been a girl. I just don't think it was meant to be, and it's neat though. I mean, there are a lot of large families out there. The fact that we have 14 boys is what makes it so unique.
25-year-old Tyler is the oldest of Jay and Katari Schwantz's big boy brood, while the youngest has only been around for a couple of months.
The newest addition is Finley Sheboygan. Sheboygan, his middle name is, she was a boy again. And so we decided to have a little fun with it. He's got a lot of brothers standing behind him, so if anybody wants to make fun of his name, they can try.
Unfortunately, the Schwans are the target of online posts that harp on more than just the naming decisions.
There are some really mean people in the world, and it doesn't matter. You know, we happen to be this great big family with 14 boys that has so much fun every second that we're together, and we still get horrible comments.
Some of those comments focus on whether the Schwanzes are capable of giving each boy enough attention, a criticism that Brandon Schwanz dismisses.
It's just like what we grew up with. I don't know how to explain it. It's just life. It's our life.
A life their mom describes as organized chaos. Especially when all 16 are in one place, as they recently were during a getaway at the family farm a half hour from their Grand Rapids area home.
Chaotic, noisy, messy, but we enjoy it, you know, and if we didn't, we wouldn't have continued to have this many children.
The question is, will there be any more?
I have said steadfastly that we are done having children, but I have been reminded that I said the exact same thing after Tucker and after Francisco, so it just feels like we're done.
Their kids are just getting started, though Drew Schwant and his girlfriend are expecting their first any day now. The baby's gender?
Little girl, so that's so exciting to have, you know, a baby girl around.
Drew's little girl will have 13 uncles, including Finley, proving that families come in all shapes and sizes. You'd think you'd run out of names after a while.
Yeah, get that baby naming book out once again.
We lived next door when I was growing up, but the family next door had 21 kids.
I'm going to guess a mix of boys and girls, right?
Yeah, it
not
was a
all
mix,
boys.
not all boys.
But still, exciting times over there.
8 in shifts.
Wow. Well, I guess you'd have to.
Yeah, 21.
Right, ring the bell. Next one.
There was 4 kids in our family, and we had a small family.
Compared to
next door and a lot of them. So anyway, 14. That should be enough. Well, the road trip season, it's road trip season it is. But what happens when your perfect journey doesn't go exactly as planned?
Consumer Reports has some helpful tips to prepare you and your car just in time for your summer expedition. That's when Live at 4 continues.
look at downtown Madison via our Edgewater Skycam. Kind of hazy day out there today. Well, it's time to pack up the kids and hit the open road, which also means it's time to start making some important decisions.
And that's why Consumer Reports just released its guide to the ultimate road trip, helping you travel like a pro just in time for your summer getaway. Here's Leah Lynchide.
Ken Manella went big last year on his family's summer road trip.
This is my cross-country chariot.
The Manella family had purchased a 35-foot-long travel trailer for a 2-month, nearly 12,000-mile cross-country journey.
It was such a great experience. Yellowstone was a big crowd pleaser.
But even the best road trip can still have its road bumps.
We were driving through Kansas on a highway and wound up having a blowout.
Although a setback, the Manellas were able to get help from a roadside assistance program.
Look for a feature called trip interruption in your roadside assistance program. It can protect you due to a breakdown or theft when you're miles away from home, and this can reimburse you for hotels, meals, or alternative transportation.
Consumer Reports says another way to help avoid setbacks before you hit the road is to pack your car right.
You want to make sure you don't overload your car. You can find your vehicle's load limit listed on the driver's door jamb and in the owner's manual. Stow your heaviest items on the bottom, especially in an SUV. This keeps the center of gravity lower, reducing the chances of a rollover.
And as gas prices continue to rise to a national average of $3 a gallon, it's even more important to find cheap gas.
The gas was an eye-opening experience.
One way to help, download a gas app. In one search, the free app Gas Buddy found almost $1 difference per gallon between 2 Chicago gas stations only a few blocks apart. If you're filling up a big SUV, those savings can really add up. As for the Manella family, they plan to take their travel trailer out again for a new adventure as soon as possible. Consumer Reports is naming its favorites for road trip-worthy vehicles, and at the top of the list for SUVs is the Toyota Highlander Hybrid. For WISC News 3, I'm Leah Lynchide.
Don't forget the snacks.
That's right. Don't forget the beef jerky.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more to come at 4. They're called man's best friend for a reason.
Our friend Dr. Shyla McGrain and her friend Belle joins us next to talk about the psychological benefits of pet ownership. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Your first alert traffic update shows some slowdowns right at Seminole Highway and the Beltline. You can see those heading in that eastbound direction, pretty much stopped in all 3 lanes at this point, but looking a lot better in that westbound direction. So here is where we're seeing some of those slowdowns right now. Just a few in the westbound direction right around Todd Drive and to the east toward Park Street. In that eastbound direction, though, seeing those slowdowns all the way from Verona Road all the way out past John Nolan Drive. Both of those slowdowns, both eastbound and westbound, down to around 20 to 25 miles per hour. That's your first alert traffic.
Thank you, Karin. Fans witnessed a true act of sportsmanship at a high school football game in Minnesota. No, that's a baseball game. For good grief. Pitcher Ty Kane struck out his friend on an opposing team to end the game, then chose consolation over celebration, sharing a hug with the batter. The pair played Little League together before going to different high schools. They've remained very close friends throughout the years. Kane says he wanted the batter to know their friendship is more important than the game. With the win, Kane's team advanced to the finals.
Another good Kane.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but what about a pet?
When it comes to opening your home to an animal companion, there are a number of proven health benefits. And here to tell us what those are, Dr. Shyla McGrain, a senior psychologist at UW Health and Bell.
Yes.
You were on in January, you had a bucket list.
Yes.
And on that bucket list.
Yes, I talked about getting a black female miniature poodle I wanted to name Belle, who wore pink. And here she is. I just got her 3 weeks ago.
And you grew up with one of these.
I did, yes. And it was my childhood trusted companion that brought so much joy to our family.
Oh my goodness, she is so sweet.
You really do light up. You really do light up. So talk about that human and animal connection.
Absolutely. The one thing that struck me is the social benefit of having a pet, of how many people I've actually met. I've met neighbors. You know, you just walk down the street with an animal and people stop you. It seems like pet owners like to talk to pet owners. And so it opens up a new world of meeting people. You're outside of your daily routine with an animal.
You know, I might walk my dog twice a day. I know all of my neighbors. And I wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah, you get outside as well because you have to walk a pet like a dog or maybe a horse that you're taking care of or even taking a cat outside.
That's right. My neighbor walks his cat.
Yeah, or your ferret or even rabbit. And so, you know, it connects you to a larger world and you go places you wouldn't necessarily go to.
We call them man's best friend. I mean, what's the psychological benefit of having a dog, cat, fish, parrot?
Yep, all those animals. You know, interestingly, some of the same hormones are produced as a mother-child relationship. So oxytocin gets produced when I'm connecting with my puppy Belle. And that's that bonding hormone or that connection hormone. Also, stress levels are reduced. Cortisol is reduced when you're interacting with a pet like a dog or cat. And studies have shown that just petting an animal can lower your blood pressure. So it really is good for your heart.
And it makes sense because at American Family Children's Hospital, they have the Pet Pals program where they bring those therapy dogs in there for the young patients. And it's night and day for those children who are there.
Absolutely. Florence Nightingale, back in the 1900s, prescribed pet companionship for those people who are ill. And one thing that really struck me is that bringing a pet into a child's life, into the home, exposes that child to allergens, making them less likely to develop allergies and asthma.
Yeah, I read, let the child roll around in the pet fur and dander, and that helps them later in life.
It keeps them resilient.
So there are health benefits.
Absolutely, yeah, that is above and beyond what we get by eating that apple a day or, exercise. And I think ultimately it just brings so much joy. Coming home to an animal is some companionship, especially for people who are elderly or maybe lost a family member, who are single. Having that pet to come home to is that trusted companion there.
And it keeps the Kong company in business.
Yeah, it does.
Has there been any research as to what type of animal might, exceed all expectations?
It's such a personal preference. I know some people that have a pet snake or their pet gerbil or a pet ferret. So it really is based on your lifestyle and What kind of lights you up? What do you get excited about?
There are cat people, there are dog people. People have both.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, this little girl here is just a treasure.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Check that off your bucket list. Good for you.
And it's brought kind of more joy than I could have imagined.
Isn't
so I
it
encourage
amazing?
people. It took me 15 years to get to her, and I say, why did I wait so long? So I encourage people to get out there and get a pet. And I know you.
It is amazing
you
what
both
they
have experienced that
what
with
they
your pets.
do for your hearts and your soul. And she's what, 11 weeks?
11 weeks. Just turned 4 pounds today.
All right. Well, good luck with the potty training.
I'm going to need it.
All the joys of pethood, pet ownership. All right, Charlotte. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you next
good luck.
month.
Come visit again, Belle. All right. I'll have a final check your forecast coming up. Get that humidity out of here.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We do have still some humidity across the area tonight. Just a few spotty showers have tried to develop in northeastern Dane County, southeastern Columbia County. That's about it at this point. We may see those spotty showers this evening. Better chances of seeing a shower or thunderstorm than overnight. Temperatures falling to the upper 60s this evening. By early tomorrow morning, we're down to 60 degrees. And look at that. Nice sunshine from start to finish. Lower humidity, highs up right around 80 degrees. Should be a beautiful day.
Oh, gorgeous. Thank you.
Yep.
Tomorrow on Live at 4, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company has some great Father's Day gift ideas.
And as UW students gather for the 50th reunion of 1968, we'll look at the newly re-released documentary, The War at Home. That's tomorrow on Live at 4.